The battle continues May 1st at the second stop on the PSP Tour, so mark your calendars and sign up your team to take the field at the 2015 PSP Nashville Open. Watch all the action going down and broadcast live May 1st through the 3rd on pspevents.com. Back here, about to watch Baltimore Revo take on Seattle Thunder as we are closing out the morning division. One more game after this one. Los Angeles Ironmen will be taking on Houston Heat. This is the 2015 PSP Dallas Open. This game brought to you by GOG Paintball. So when you look at this on paper, got to give this one to Seattle Thunder. They've been a little bit more experienced, but man, I'll tell you what, this is a close match. It's really anyone's game. Baltimore Revo started really proving themselves last year. But there's still some unanswered questions with Revo. I mean, you know, last year they beat some good teams. They were able to really, make that strong push towards the end. But, Thunder made some moves as far as roster was concerned, brought back some guys that have just been playing pro paintball out of Pacific Northwest for years. Map Chim came back to the squad. Mikey Lou, who would come back to coach, he started playing again. And those are guys that have been playing with the Naughty Dogs for years, which is why that defending metric is so far over for Thunder. But other than that, man, I mean, Revo's, they're a great attacking team. I really like Brandon Morales from Seattle Thunder. I really think that kid, if he can stop making little mistakes, is going to be a force over here on the Snake side. So, but it's anyone's game right now. Both these teams are pretty evenly matched, and Revo did prove a lot towards the end of the year. So, just really comes down to who put the most work in during the offseason. And I was talking to Map Chim from Seattle Thunder, and he had said they had a really mild winter, which allowed them to get outdoors and play a bunch and really train to get ready for this event.
Yeah, and, definitely, when it rains in Seattle, it can rain and rain and rain. So good for them to be able to actually get out there and get prepared, be ready for this event.
So on the breakout here, Mikey Lou, Corey Field, Map Chim, Scott Knight, and Brandon Morales on the field for Thunder. Revo has Patrick Fong, Henry Sense, John Hartman, Kenny Frank, and Stefan O'Mara. O'Mara in the Snake right now for Revo. And now you're looking at the lineup. Uh-oh, looks like Thunder loses a body. It's Scott Knight. Comes off early, getting shot out of his spot.
And here comes the red flag. I thought I saw something over there. Looks like Kenny Frank is the one that's going to draw the major. So there goes two more bodies for Revo, but Revo here in Snake 2. Stephen O'Mara going to crawl past the 50. Onto Thunder's side of the field. Corey Field makes a bump out to the Dorito side. Here comes Brandon Morales.
Ooh, but Brandon Morales just runs right into O'Mara's gun. However,
lucky for him, Mikey Lou was behind O'Mara.
Hey, we saw Mikey Lou have a couple really good points. Mikey Lou, the interesting thing in the story with Thunder is that, Corey Field, Mikey Lou, Map Chim, these are guys that used to play for the Naughty Dogs back in the day, and the Naughty Dogs were a top-level pro team. They had some really good finishes at some big events, and so these are guys, again, that have been playing pro paintball for a long time, but Corey Field started Seattle Thunder to keep pro paintball alive in the Pacific Northwest, and then slowly but surely started getting, bringing the band back together. Mikey Lou came back, Map Chim came back, and be working on some of these younger guys like Scott Knight and Brandon Morales. So, but the point I wanted to make about Mikey Lou is that he was one of those guys that was always a weapon for the Naughty Dogs, and then now he's becoming a weapon again for Seattle Thunder.
Yeah, he was a pain in the butt. There was like a list of guys you had to deal with. Eric Hunter, San Diego now. Eric Hunter, Map Chim. Obviously you had the Knuth brothers.
All right, Mikey.
The guy's named Brad. Is it Brad? Little Brad Rousson?
Yep.
I think he's still out here playing with a divisional team somewhere. He was from Colorado, I
Yeah,
believe.
man, paintball's still alive and well in the Pacific Northwest. It's just really good to see Thunder, keep that legacy going and putting the first point on the board. But really good job by Mikey Lou getting out there, getting himself a little 3-pack. Brandon Morales got a kill.
This guy right here on your screen, you know, we saw him yesterday really putting in some work over there on that Dorito side. You know, it got a little tough for him in the afternoon in that Ironman game, and the Ironman really started picking it up. But Jared Demchek, you know, really did a good job for them yesterday. You know, let's see if he can get something going here today against Revo. Revo going to be starting off with 4 bodies. Demchek really playing that seam over there on the Dorito side, coming up, you know, through that alleyway on the inside of the Doritos. What? Revo sending out Fong, O'Mara, Hartman,
oh, no. See, Thunder has been having an issue with some of the starts. This is the same thing that happened to Thunder yesterday. They start out real well and then make a mistake, which immediately puts them on their heels. But somehow, some way, they were able to whip around. And Corey Field and Demchek able to get a couple kills.
Yeah, it looks like they might have gotten everybody.
Wow. So even though Thunder gets a terrible start out of the gate and lose 3 bodies, somehow Demchek and Corey Field are able to get to all of the kills and make it work and score another point here.
And still keep
Kenny Frank in the box.
Yeah, still keep Kenny Frank over there. So, wow.
We looked at
it. Looked like they all made it, and then they all started to stand up and walk off.
We were watching Thunder's break up here in the booth. Saw the bad break, saw the 2 players left alive in Demchek and Field. Then we look over to the opposite side of the field for Baltimore Revo, and it's just a slew of Revo jerseys walking off dead. So, you know, Revo not doing themselves any favors so far here in this match by getting a penalty in the first one, and then dropping what could have been a gift for them with Thunder making a mistake. So, you know, maybe Thunder can go back and tighten it up a little bit. That's the thing with Thunder. We saw it at the World Cup too, Todd, is that the team's solid again. They have a good roster. We know they can play the game, but they, you know, just making little mistakes here and there, and ends up costing them. Sometimes it's penalties, sometimes it's bad starts.
And there's Corey Field, masterful with the gun on the break.
Yeah, Corey Field's a beastly gunfighter, man. And he's also one of those guys, even though it's tough, you know, it's always, like we talked about in some previous games, it's really tough to pull, you know, 1-on-3s. And Corey Field is one of those guys that over the years has proven capable of being the last guy left alive and somehow, some way pulling off a 1-on-3. Not a lot of guys can say that they're consistently a guy that has that in their bag. Like Yosh Rao is one of those guys.
There's Kenny Frank right there, number 31 from Revo. Kenny Frank's been playing pretty well for them. You know, I think that he's definitely one of their more solid guys. He's got some pro experience. Yeah, I believe he played with DC Arsenal back in the day.
Hey, that's the thing with Revo is if they keep working, they're already a good team, but they could start contending because when you look at their lineup, their starting line particularly, they're starting to get very experienced. They've been doing this for a little bit now. Starting to get that pro level experience from last season into this season. And, you know, they're starting to be guys that we're calling their name a bunch because they're starting to put in work and get kills and not make as many mistakes.
So Scott Knight coming over here into Snake 1. He's got Brandon Morales with him. Demchek getting sneaky up there in the middle on the Dorito side. He's got Map Chim behind him. Revo dropping bodies all over the place. Here comes Corey Field up through the middle on the Snake side. Scott Knight gonna do the dance, looking for the bodies. Coming down the Snake side, he shoots off the last body. Still 9 seconds on the penalty if Corey Field, world-class sprinter, makes it to the flag station. Kenny Frank a little late on that one. He's still gonna be. Kenny Frank came running out of the box with 3 seconds still on his penalty and actually shot Corey Field after he hung the flag. I think the referees might be discussing why Kenny Frank came running out of the box. That might be another minor penalty. Because I've seen that before, coming out of the box early, but the point was over, so I don't know if they can actually call a penalty on him for that. I know if you come out of the box early, it's another, I think it's another major. If you come out of the box early, or a minor, a major if you shoot somebody. But there was still 3 seconds on that penalty, according to the clock that we have here. But the point was over, so He's kind of just a mean guy for running out of the box and shooting Corey Field. He gets the mean guy award.
Well, the ref's still talking it out. And Houston Heat getting ready to play their next game against the Los Angeles Ironmen. Both those teams are 2-0 heading into that game.
There you have Matt Chim, 2 H's, 1 M. From Seattle Thunder. There's Demchek. Jared Demchek for Thunder.
How do you like an IOU this time? There was a discrepancy last time.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Good.
So still waiting to see what's going to be going down with this penalty situation here for Revo. A little bit of confusion out there. And then a major penalty going up for something. And a minor, major, I don't know. Ref threw the red first, and he picked the red up through the minor, and then he's pointing at Frank. So it looks like we are going to have another penalty.
I don't know what's going on right now. It looked like they were running out to get down to the box, and all of a sudden the referee started chucking flags in the air. Let's see if we can get a referee update. But I think it's going to be on Revo.
It's definitely on Revo. They had the conference out over there talking to Frank. Then they came over, had another conference over here, and then saw the guy point at Frank, throw a major first, and then go pick the red flag up, throw a minor instead. So I think it's going to be a minor.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see the referee signaling, the 3. So there's definitely going to be 3 bodies. We'll figure out what exactly that was for.
Yeah, so it looks like poor Kenny Frank's going back into the box. And down by 3. Thunder looking pretty decent right now. So there's Thunder on your screen. They have Mike Liu, Corey Field, Brandon Morales, Shelby Foster is going to get a spin, and Scott Knight. 17-18 to go, so a couple quick points for Thunder here so far, which has brought us to the score currently, which is 3-0.
Yeah, Maddie, so they are giving Kenny Frank another minor for coming out of the box early, right when that point ended. So Revo going to be starting with 3 bodies. And they're already down 3-0.
You starting with 4?
They should be starting with 3.
Well, it looks like 4 of them. Like, there's Kenny Frank on the left-hand side of your screen with a questioning look, kind of shaking his head. And then the 4 other guys look like they are playing.
Let's find out here.
So counting down here, 10 seconds before the start of this next one.
Okay, so Kenny Frank's getting a fresh minor. Kenny Frank gets a fresh minor.
So it's 4 on 5 as the time starts ticking down on that new fresh minor for Kenny Frank leaving early. Thunder 5 strong, and looks like they are able to keep all their bodies alive. Now pushing into the snake. Morales gets to notch 2. Matt Chim gets shot out of the center. No, I'm sorry, Mikey Liu gets shot out of the center. And here comes Morales to that oh-so-important segment of the snake where you can get those crossfield shots, and he's going to have a good one if he can come up here. And he misses his shot. So Morales not able to get the drop on the Revo player in the center. I think that is Stacy Smith up there.
Yeah, Stacy Smith was shooting back towards the 50. Morales popped up on his side of the snake, but
Stacy Smith has to live by his gun right now. So yeah, Morales, referee went in there to check out Stacy Smith, and it looks like Stacy Smith finally getting shot on the other side, so forced to look. So that's what happens though, Todd. If you can get penetration, you don't even have to shoot the guy sometimes. You just push him into your other player's guns.
Yeah, and Stacy Smith, took one in the backside. I believe that's Shelby Foster over there in that Dorito 2.
Well, Thunder's lost a ton of bodies too, so right now it looks like just Shelby Foster and Corey Field looking at 3 bodies for Revo as Hartman, Rill, and then Kenny Frank finally able to make it out of the box. Finally. 15:46 to go, tons of time. Again, both these teams were 0-2 heading into this game.
There you see Revo side of the field up in that center tall tower. Kenny Franks in the back center. And then they have Sean Rill over there on the Dorito side. Actually, I'm sorry, Hartman. Yeah, Hartman's there in the middle. Sean Rill looking to make a move up the Dorito side. There's Sean Rill on your screen, number 33 for Baltimore Revo. There's Hartman up in the middle, working on Corey Field. So there's Shelby Foster.
So the reason why this is going to slow down a little bit is that Thunder's up points, but down bodies, or down a body. So Revo has to win this one to keep themselves in this match, but they only have a one body advantage. The Thunder doesn't have to go anywhere, and they don't really have the bodies to do so. So unless Revo drops the ball, leaves a lane wide open, Corey Field and Shelby Foster are going to probably try to shoot Revo as they make moves.
Yeah, Corey needs to keep an eye on Jonathan Hartman over here. As Hartman comes out of the middle and comes over towards the snake side. If Hartman can come across and get into the snake through Corey Field's gun, he might have a better shot at getting Foster. And Foster actually takes one in the back from Hartman. So now it's just one body left alive for Thunder. Corey Field in the back center. And there goes Corey Field as he feels the pinch from both sides. But Revo lost all the bodies. It's tough to keep a body count, but that's really what you got to do. Make sure you know where everybody is. So they're going to run and go grab the flag and run it in. That's going to be Jonathan Hartman. So Revo finally getting on the board over here, making it 3-1.
Well, now we got ourselves a game, because if Thunder was able to put this point on the board, go 4-0, 4 points is a huge deficit to try to fight out of. But much more manageable 2 points now, facing 2-point deficit facing Baltimore Revo, and they will finally be back at full strength with all those penalties now off the board.
So let's see here. Coming up, we got Ironman Heat. Ironman have 2 wins. Heat have 2 wins. Revo and Thunder. So in this bracket, Revo and Thunder, neither of these teams have a win. So they're both going to be out. So Ironman Heat, no matter what happens there, they're playing for seeding. And the top 2 seeds from that bracket are going to play the top 2 seeds from the bracket with Damage, 187, Legion, and AC Dallas. AC Dallas has 0 wins as they lost both their games yesterday. Legion only played 1 game yesterday, and they lost to Crew. Crew has 2 wins.
Shock only played 1 game yesterday, too.
Yeah, Shock only played 1. Damage only played their 1 game against AC Dallas that they won. So we got a lot of good matchups coming up here in the afternoon session. We got Damage and Legion first, Impact and Aftershock, Legion and AC Dallas. That Damage Crew game, depending on what happens between Damage and Legion, that could play out to be pretty interesting.
Well, that bracket is, or the afternoon brackets, those 2 brackets, a little bit more interesting than the brackets we've seen in the morning, because it's a little bit closer. There's more to be determined, essentially, at least heading into the afternoon, because Ironman and Heat were both able to win out, and Dynasty and X Factor were both able to win out in the first games that they had played. Right now, both teams are 5 strong. Brandon Morales, Corey Field, Mikey Lou. Demchek's back out there for Thunder along with Map Chimp. And then you're looking at Map Chimp on your screen, shooting snake side in that stand-up temple. And then you see the doubled-up bunker right there from Baltimore Revo in the back. Very back there. There's a pull back and look at the line. The 5 players left alive, or 5 players alive for Revo.
Thunder out there in the Dorito corner with Mikey Lou behind Demchek. Demchek in the Dorito 1. Revo looking to try and mount an attack. There's Map Chim on your screen in the middle tower, trying to lock off the snake side, but right now Revo battling furiously, trying to get out on the snake side. They're going to have to put Map in. Thunder has a player in the snake side corner, not shooting his gun, but I think Map Chim may have got a bounce. Map Chim shot the player in the head coming out to the snake. Oh, but he got a bounce. He's in there alive. That's I think that's O'Mara. O'Mara able to get out. So Map Chim going to be in a little bit tougher spot now too. But Revo with 2 bodies over here on the snake side in both temples. You know, that's Scott Knight over there in the snake side corner. It's got to be tough for him, but he's got field position. Got to help Map Chim out and get his gun up a little bit. He's just hiding behind his bunker, and that's going to allow Revo to come up and get in the snake. But Demchek is coming through the middle of the field again, destroying people. Yeah. He gets one.
Demchek's crafty. He's definitely a smart player.
Yep.
But Demchek does not know that O'Mara has got all the way past the 50-yard line, but O'Mara has no idea that Demchek's way up there either.
Demchek doesn't care. He's running down the field stabbing people. He gets another one. He gets number 17, Jonathan Hartman, out of that mini race bunker.
I don't think Map Chim knows that O'Mara's made it all the way up there. And now he does. Map Chim has to live by his gun. He's probably going to need to tuck over. There he goes. That whole D side's blown open, so that's going to let Map Chim live on that side of the bunker. So the field's turned here. And it's going to get really tough for O'Mara if Map Chim can get farther up. So Map Chim now pushing forward, and it's going to be up to Henry Sense to try to take out Map Chim. O'Mara finally gets taken out down that sideline, and it's just Sense left alive. And then here comes Scotty Knight, knee sliding through the mud. Corey Field along with him and Map Chim. So beautiful work by Field and Chim. But really the story of that one, Map Chim's limping. That's not good. Map Chim limping off. He's one of their starters. So hopefully he's okay. He's just shaking his head. It looks like he is okay. There comes Corey Field jogging off. But story at that point was Demchek making that big move up through the center, Todd.
Yeah, he's been doing it consistently. You know, that's more than 3 or 4 times I've seen him make that move. Maybe that's the shark fin that Tyler was talking about.
Tyler Harmon, Dynasty. Yeah, so we're going to reset for this next point. 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Seattle with a big 3-point lead, 4-1. We'll be right back after these messages. Back some more prelim action here at the 2015 PSP Dallas Open. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. 4-1 is the score. It's been mostly Seattle Thunder. Revo having to fight through some penalties early on, which let Thunder roll up on this lead here. But also, Thunder's just executing better, Todd. Yeah. They're not making as many mistakes, and they're making good moves.
There you saw the big man coming up in the middle. That was Will Hansen slipping and falling on his booty. Trying to shoot that player running out to the snake side for Revo. But there's Brandon Morales for Thunder. Demchek going to get shot early now for Thunder. He comes walking off the field. They can Sense. Make that Stacy Smith making a move up into Dorito too. Brandon Morales makes a big move for Seattle Thunder all the way into the 50 snake. Is he going to be able to get across? He is, but Revo has 2 bodies coming out towards the snake side to try and stop him. Morales has a clear shot across the middle if he would just look left. You got to know where your
I
shots
think
are.
Morales just took one. You
My
got to be careful. If he
goodness.
shoots his gun, he's going to get a penalty.
The mistakes that Morales is making is driving me crazy over here.
They're so fixable. I mean, he should, by this point, Morales is so talented, and he's doing a good job of getting up there and getting up there alive. But why, at this point in the game, he doesn't know to at least check off across the field from that important spot is beyond me.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, what kind of communication is going on right now. Like whether he's not listening or nobody's saying anything, but Corey Field's a pretty good communicator. When he sees somebody make it to a spot, you usually hear about it right away. But, I mean, just knowing your own position, if you dive into the other team's side of the field, your first look is Dorito 2. If a guy's
in that spot,
yeah,
Dorito 3, first look, I think.
Well,
that's the guy
I'm calling
that
the
can
40 Dorito 2,
okay.
right?
I'm calling that the Dorito 3 because it's the third Dorito up.
Yeah, the mini Dorito, that's the mini Dorito. The Dorito 1 is the big one, the first big one. I'm just going off the big ones, right? So you got the 50 Dorito, the 40 Dorito, Dorito 2 is what I'm calling it. That's the one that he should have shot right away. He had the clear shot over there. If he does that, he at least gets a body off that side of the field and takes some pressure away from Corey in the back center because they lost Demchek. They lost Will Hansen. He at least has some breathing room to be able to play that side of the field, protect him. And then, Brandon Morales, can at least start fighting in front of him after that. Instead, slides in, gets shot, and, Baltimore Revo scores another point. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I am here in Thunder's Pit with Scott Knight. They are up 2 points right now against Revo. Revo played a really strong match against Ironman, and yesterday was kind of a rougher day for you guys. What did you adjust in your strategy to make sure you could come out here and have a battle with them?
We stopped cheating. We stayed out of the penalty box so far today. We got to see if we can do that. Yesterday, we really just shot ourselves in the foot, not getting out there in time, just a little more prepared. We had a pretty good team meeting last night. I gave an inspirational speech, so I feel like that's really making the difference right now.
All right, well, I will ask you about the inspirational speech later, but let's see if Revo can get another point.
That's an honest man right there. Well, we
Yep.
stopped cheating, and that's helped us out. So right now, Kenny Frank coming off early. Demchek on that kill.
Oh.
Map Chim making the move to the 50-yard line here. Only looking at 3 bodies. Bodies starting to come off for Baltimore Revo. Thunder 5 strong still.
Stacy Smith getting shot off that Dorito side.
Oh, I think Map Chim, just as the point gets conceded, Map Chim takes one in off his pack. Map Chim still limping around a little bit, man, but he's gotten through whatever injury he's dealing with. Limping really bad, too.
Yeah, I hope it's nothing serious.
Well, Map Chim, 6 confirmed kills for him in this game. So Map Chim doing some work out there regardless of whatever injury he's suffering through.
Yep. Didn't look like he was injured while he was coming up through the middle shooting people.
No, he looked fine. And then as soon as the point ended, then he started big limps back towards the pit.
Because he came up the middle, shot O'Mara, came up a little bit farther, wrapped around, shot Stacy Smith, and then Mike Baker was last in the back center right there, shot him out. So nice little game right there from Map Chim catching a 3-piece.
Don't forget there's poster signings. So if you are in the area, check out the times and the teams. Hashtag PSP Dallas. Come meet your favorite pros. So Seattle Thunder put another point up. 5-2 is the score here in this preliminary matchup. 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go. The last game of the morning bracket coming at you next. Going to be the Los Angeles Ironmen taking on Houston Heat. What do you got in that game?
LA Ironman, Houston Heat. I don't know. It's like
No Brandon Cornell.
No Brandon Cornell. Houston Heat, they're starting to pick it up. But in a game like that, is a game where Houston Heat isn't going to go like, I mean, I don't think they're going to go try and let everything out there. They're already in. I don't think they're going to try and show all their game plans.
Not going to show all their cards.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that Houston Heat would do in that matchup. So, I don't know. I think it could go either way. You know, I mean, Ironmen, interested to see what they're going to do.
Well,
if they're going to like try some players out in some different spots, maybe. You know, because they're going to need a guy to take Brandon Cornell's spot.
Well, they don't
have
Barr
can go every game.
Well, they don't have Chris Cat here, so he's been doing a workhorse for him on the D side of the field. They don't have Brandon Cornell because he dislocated his shoulder to go to the hospital. So, you know, the Ironmen are going to have to find. It's going to be basically Danny Ibarra on the D side of the field. He's going to have to step it up.
Yeah. But, I mean, we saw Marcelo go over there a little bit, but when the Ironmen started to struggle, Marcelo came over to the Snake side as well. So, I mean, is it going to be Marcelo?
Well, if Toke and Vitalik can continue to handle business over here on the Snake side, then I would put Ibarra and Margot over on the D side, backed up by either Pestana or Paxson.
Pestana actually did really well early, shooting players and then coming up the middle. You know, we're seeing a lot of nice, sneaky, creepy moves. Oh, here comes Revo trying to come through the middle. Sean Rill gets chopped up, I think, by Scott Knight and Shelby Foster in that Dorito 1. Scott Knight's walking down the Snake side right now. Kenny Frank getting shot, and there goes the last body for Baltimore Revo. I think that was Sense over there in the corner. So here comes Corey Field walking up the middle.
Corey Field grabbing the flag. They are going to be 1 point away from taking this victory here in this race to 7 points.
Man, I guarantee you this isn't how Baltimore Revo expected their Dallas event to go.
No, definitely not. Not after the big second half of the year they had last year.
Yeah, they were really picking up some momentum all through the year last year.
Well, the thing is that they're still a new team. They elevated their game. They transcended their ability in those big matches to prove themselves that they deserve to be here. But the road's long, man, as we well know and we've seen throughout time. And every tournament's a new tournament. So, you know, Thunder really worked hard in the offseason, as you know, we had talked to Map Chim about. And all these teams, there had been so many different pickups and different moves and teams falling off and new teams coming in that we got a whole new story this year in professional paintball. So, I mean, yeah, there's still the legendary names there, but there's been a lot of turnover. So, you know, new year, new looks, and you constantly have to come and prove yourself. It doesn't matter what you did at the last event. I mean, you know, it's like we always say, it's not the names on the backs that wins the tournament, it's the game you bring to each event. And so I don't know, maybe they came in a little overconfident because they did do so well for where they're at.
Bring your game, not your name.
Yeah, so we'll see.
But you know what, man? I mean, like we said before, they relegated Infamous, they relegated Heat, and last year with Vicious, we played against them in the prelims, and that was a tough game. Like, we got up, they got some early penalties. We got up, and they fought back, and it was a tough game.
Maybe
they made good adjustments.
Maybe it has something to do with the conditions.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this off-air last night when we were talking about how, you know, having, you know, going back through the years and thinking like, okay, well, remember this event, remember that event, just having to think through what it was like to fight through these conditions. It's tough. It gets in your head a little bit. It's multiple things you have to worry about. So maybe that had something to do with it. Again, we're just kind of talking through the possibilities because I was really I'm still looking forward to see what they bring, you know, at the next event. But, you know, Revo was one of those names of the teams when we were kind of going through and speaking to what could potentially happen this year, that we were excited to see what they were going to bring because they did have such a good story last year, but still a really young pro team. And, you know, when you're young, sometimes you'll have a really good event and you have a bad event. So this is just one of those events where things weren't working out for them.
Yeah.
Too many penalties.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of the guys that we're seeing out here, they're getting the majority of the spins. You know, the O'Maras, the Sean Rills, Kenny Franks. You know, like those are some kids with some serious talent. And you know, when you're younger and you're playing against experienced guys that are used to the conditions, that are used to the tense moments out on the field of gunfighting, you know, when you're a younger guy, you use your speed and your quickness that you have over some of those other guys that have more experience to get you some kills and some wins, and then you start stacking those and gaining momentum. And it's really hard to do. When it's so muddy out here and the game slows down. Like your fundamentals and your gunfighting and your decision making is really what drives teams to win. And like everybody's been saying, it's all about communication, knowing what's going on. And we've seen a couple times where everything goes down and it's like, okay, now what? Let's check in with Lauren Kelly real quick.
Hey guys, I am here with Sean Rill in the Revo pit. They are down 4 points, 6-2 against Thunder. You guys played a really strong match against Iron Man earlier today, but you're struggling here. What have been your biggest problems?
We're not getting the kills off the break, and we're not getting wide.
When you guys have a minute like this time out to kind of discuss what needs to be changed, how is the morale in the pit? You guys seem pretty down right now.
We need to figure out how to pick something up, and we don't know what to do right now.
All right, well, we'll see if they can get a point on the board or if Thunder will take this win. Back to you guys.
Seattle Thunder sending out Corey Field, Scotty Knight, Brandon Morales. Will Hansen's going to get a spin, and Jared Demchek. For Revo, it's Sense, Smith, Fong, Omara, and Hartman.
And Patrick Fong, looks like he got pulled. Yeah, he got shot on the break. Coming out here to the snake side, number 21. Stacy Smith got shot. So just 3 bodies left alive for Revo now. Hartman, Sense, and Omara. Looks like Will Hansen getting another spin over there on the Dorito side for Thunder. Trying to get his money's worth this last point over here if Seattle Thunder can take advantage of their bodies and their field position. Demchek, first one to walk off for Seattle Thunder. There goes Will Hansen coming across into the 40 Dorito. He's got 1 body in front of him. Corey Field comes in behind him. Here goes Brandon Morales, same situation. Is he gonna shoot the body this time?
Well, he's...
Actually, it's a different. He's in Dorito.
It's
the bunker behind it.
It's It's also a different situation because that guy knew he got in there and started putting pressure on right away. So he needs to actually make sure he's careful on that lane. So yeah, he went and head checked back towards that side. Was like, yep, he's definitely shooting at me. So then went back towards the sideline here to try to work on the 2 players in front of him. And there's Brandon Morales on your screen.
You got to talk. I mean, if they know you're there, it's time to start talking.
He's got some fierce eyes. Look at the eyes back and forth, looking at both angles.
Fierce eyes, crazy eyes.
Well, there's the battle that you're watching right there. So Morales, see, he's blocked out from Snake 1, so he has that bunker to work with. Morales playing really strong in here. He's gunfighting essentially 3 players right now. One of the players in front of him, oh, careful.
Yeah, it's time for Will Hansen to make a move.
Nice job by Morales, comes up, smokes 1 down. And then the other one got taken out because once Morales moved past that, the last player left alive on the D side for Revo realized the situation he was in, and he immediately stood up and tried to get a kill because if he didn't try to make something on D side, he's going to get shot in the back. So nice work by Seattle Thunder to finish this game out here. Morales is good, man. Morales is going to be good.
He actually forced the hand of Revo right there. Made, I think that was Stacy Smith.
Well, and he maintained his composure in there.
Yeah.
So, but that's what we've been saying about Morales. Morales gets in the good spots. He obviously's got the skill. He's got the athletic ability to get up there, even through all this, trudging through the mud. He's maintaining his composure with the conditions. To be the first attacker. When we say the 1, the 2, or the 3, that basically means what level are you in the attack. If you're the 1, you're the first guy to go. You're the 2, you're the guy right behind the 1. You're the second guy to go. You're going to be the 1 if the 1 dies. So Morales is anyone who's playing the 1 right now in the Snake. You have the worst job in paintball right now. You're diving headfirst in the mud. You're army crawling through it, and you're covered in a thick coating of the nastiness. And you have to maintain your composure in that. And so it's good to see Morales win that last point right there and starting to work on those skills. He maintained his composure. He had his eyes on his swivel, as we could see on that close-up, and dealt with the variables in front of him, and they pulled off the victory. So I really think Morales is going to be a force for Thunder.
Yeah, we wouldn't be so hard on him if we didn't believe in his potential. You know, like you said, he gets to those spots. It's just about knowing what to do when he gets there. And, you know, he keeps getting opportunities like this. He keeps forcing the issue and being aggressive. He should be able to figure it out, because that's what we think is the key for him to be successful.
Well, and if the better Morales gets, the better Thunder's going to be.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Hey guys, I'm standing here with Mikey Lou from Thunder. Congrats on that win. That was a great win for you guys after struggling a little bit yesterday. What do you feel coming into this match here in Dallas? How do you feel you guys lived up to your expectations?
So far, we feel like we're just getting there. We put a lot of work in, and it's disappointing to come out in 2 matches and not feel like we play up to our potential. But I think we learned something on the field in those 2 games, and sometimes that's the best way is to get your head beat in. And I felt we were much more focused and reminded of how hard it is out here.
What were some things that you learned yesterday during those 2 matches?
We learned that giving away points is not a very good strategy. Playing 4-on-5 when we don't have to is not our strengths. And really just kind of remembering who we are and playing tight paintball and just shooting our guns without giving away points.
You guys have some good players on your roster, and you are getting stronger. What do you feel is still your biggest weakness you have to work on?
We have a lot of young guys. We do have some vets behind us, and we're old and creaky. Our best player is our slowest player, and I think a lot of times we rely too much on him, our old fat guy, to shoot everybody. And we just got to remember that we got to do work and make it a little bit easier on him.
Now, I do want to ask you guys, you went through it yesterday, and Revo was getting really down on themselves in the pit. Team morale was extremely down during those last few points. How important is team morale and to keep it up even when you may have the loss coming?
I think it's really important. You know, it's a different type of team morale for us, is that we do not get down on ourselves. We may get upset. We may get frustrated with each other, but I would rather have guys that are frustrated for not doing up to their potential than guys that are down, because once you get down on yourselves, it's over. I mean, you might as well not show up.
Well, thank you so much, Mikey. They did get that win. Next up, we're going to have Ironman versus Heat, so stay tuned.
Mark your calendars and get ready for the battle at the upcoming stops on the 2015 PSP Tour. The Nashville Open goes down May 1st through the 3rd. Mid-Atlantic Open June 18th through the 21st. The Chicago Open takes place August 7th through the 9th. And the biggest paintball tournament on earth, the PSP World Cup, runs October 15th through the 18th. Sign up your team now and get into the fight. Watch all the action on pspevents.com. You don't want to miss it.